Namaste, beautiful yogis. I'm very excited today. I have a treat for you. I'm here in Mount Washington near Los Angeles, and I have a sit-down interview with the Zen master Osho, and I'm gonna ask him some questions about meditation, yoga, and healthy spiritual living. So come with me. Thank you, Osho, for having us today. Let's begin with the first question. What is Kenzeonji?
Kanzeonji. Kanzeonji is the name of my temple. Kanzeon is a bodhisattva of compassion and mercy. And this temple is dedicated to Kanzeon bodhisattva. Therefore, it is Kanzeonji Buddhist temple. Ji meaning temple in Japanese. So Kanzeonji is a temple of Kanzeon.
Can you talk about who Shiva is?
Shiva. Shiva is a Hindu god. There are three gods in Hindu, major god, which is Brahman, the creator, Vishnu, the maintainer, and Shiva is a destroyer. Destroy doesn't mean it's a bad concept. Creation and maintain and destroy. This is the aspect of a God, the universe. Everything is created, maintained, and destroyed.
Yes.
So in Hinduism, we call this is the God.
Okay. And can you explain what Osho is?
Osho.
Meaning? Yes.
Okay, Osho, basically Osho is a Buddhist word, and actually Osho is my title. It's a title when you become higher than abbot, or higher, then you'll be naturally called Osho. So it's not something, Osho is not a name, it is simply, it's a Buddhist title, a monk, or like a priest or abbot in the temple.
Your practice consists of doing yoga and sitting in zazen meditation. Can you explain what zazen is?
Okay. Basically, I'm a Buddhist priest, and my major practice is zazen meditation.
Okay.
It's a quite intense sitting, a long time sitting. Therefore, it is very beneficial if you practice yoga for a very long time sitting.
Okay, so yoga enhances your zazen meditation.
Make quality of the meditation better.
Okay, and what type of yoga do you practice?
I practice basically hatha yoga.
Okay.
But I believe that yoga meaning union. So, a lot of karma work, it is also a yoga. Yoga, that doesn't mean that just moving the body, the postures. The sitting, meditation, it is a yoga as well.
What Buddhist school of thought do you come from?
Which school?
Buddhist school.
I used to belong to Soto sect. Soto Zen Buddhism.
Okay.
But I'm still practicing and the teaching of Soto Zen. But by saying Soto Zen, it limits to the Soto Zen. And it should be all the religion. I believe all the religion and all the sects, basically it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes. So therefore I stopped calling Soto Zen. Instead, I call non-sectarian Buddhist.
Okay, and what is the difference between Zen Buddhism and the other forms of Buddhism?
Okay, there are many different kinds of Buddhism, many different sects. Zen Buddhism focuses on the Zen meditation. And say Shingon sect, they focus on the mantras and mudras. And like a Nichiren sect, they exclusively practice Lotus Sutra.
Okay, and what is Lotus Sutra?
Lotus Sutra is a sutra that taught by Buddha. It is one of the most popular sutra in Buddhism. And this Kanzeon, the Bodhisattva Kanzeon, is explained in Lotus Sutra in chapter 25.
And besides yoga, you also practice veganism. Can you talk about it?
Now you made it separately, veganism and yoga or Buddhism, but veganism itself, it is a Buddhist teaching or a Hindu teaching. The major teaching is non-violence. The Buddha teaching is non-violence, no killing. So if you follow that precept, you have to be a vegan. You have to be a vegetarian.
And can you tell us what is your basic diet?
My basic diet is a vegetarian diet, and I'm Japanese, so I eat rice and I eat miso soup. These two are the most major, and some other vegetable dishes.
Okay.
But basic is brown rice and the miso soup.
Okay, and you have been vegan for how many years?
About 30 years.
Great. And you also had a vegan dog that lived to be 20 years old. Can you tell us about your dog's diet?
Diet, okay, I wasn't feeding any of those regular dog food, but I was feeding exactly what I was eating. So after we finish dinner or lunch, I'll mix everything up. Miso soup, brown rice, and all the vegetable dishes, and I was feeding to my dog.
Okay, and
he lived up to 20 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Great. Can you talk about the origin of Buddhism?
Origin of Buddhism, it's a Buddhism or Hinduism, they came from India. Mm-hmm. So it's originally came from India. The Buddha himself is an Indian man. And so a lot of philosophers and religious teaching came from India.
Okay.
But then the Buddhism traveled from India to China and from China to Japan. And by traveling, taking hundreds and hundreds of years, the Buddhism itself developed more than the original Buddhism.
Yeah, and can you mention or talk a little bit about the take of the Hindu gods in Buddhism, or how that changed?
When Buddhism came into China or to Japan, the Hindu god came along. In a Buddhist understanding, all those Hindu gods, the deities, became a protector of the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha teaching. Mm-hmm. So you can see a lot of Hindu gods worshipped in the Buddhist temple as well. Okay. There is no conflict between Hindu god and the Buddha.
And what is the take in Buddhism on the nature of life and the soul of animals?
The soul. Okay, we talk about soul. You mean the astral world or the original self? Mm-hmm. That makes a difference. We are all a Buddha nature. We are the Buddha. We are the God. But there are a lot of different deities, mm-hmm. like spirits. Some people call it spirit. But they are all in the existence of the astral world.
Okay. And can you tell us the main purpose of practicing Buddhism and talk about enlightenment?
Okay. This is not just limited to the Buddhism. All the religion basically teaches you the same thing. which is to realize yourself. Yourself, in this case, it is the eternal self. We are the eternal self. In Buddhism, we call Buddha nature. In Hinduism, we call God the Atma. In Christianity, we call God within. And some Hindu masters, they call self. So there are some teaching to the word self-realization, which meaning exactly same as enlightenment. So the meaning of enlightenment, it is a self-realization.
Okay. And the tools for achieving that?
To achieving,
daily practice?
To realize who you really are, then here comes all these various teachings, which is Zazen meditation, the yoga practices, karma yoga. You can attain enlightenment through karma yoga. You can attain enlightenment through mantra yoga, or you can attain enlightenment through sitting Zazen.
Okay.
And of course, practicing Christianity can lead you into the enlightenment as well.
Yeah. And can you talk about karma and reincarnation?
Okay. Basically, the teaching of Buddhism or Hinduism is the teaching of karma and teaching of reincarnation. Our body lasts about 100 years, but our eternal self is eternal. That's why we call it eternal. Eternal self, never ending, never beginning. It's always there. So, this body lasts only about 100 years, and yourself is the eternal self. So then here comes the teaching of the reincarnation. You have to change your body after 80, 90, 100 years. So that is the teaching of reincarnation. And the karma, basically the karma teaching is how do you create karma? Is thinking, doing, and speaking. They are the only the three things to create karma. When you think about it, there's nothing else you create karma. So if you speak bad, then you're creating bad karma. If you're thinking bad, you're creating bad karma also. And if you behave bad, you are creating a bad karma there. But if you speak good, and if you think good, and if you behave good, then you're creating good karma.
Okay, and what about fear?
Fear is coming from that whatever you want, it doesn't happen, then it's become fear. Your ego self wants certain things, and it doesn't come to you. Then your ego is become very unhappy. So something your ego likes, then your ego become very happy. Something you don't like, your ego is become very sad. But then the practice is to get rid of the ego. This is all common with all the religion. Every religion teaches you to become egolessness. Ego is me, I. That is ego. So it's very simple. Try to work towards no ego. Then you should be very happy.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about attachment?
Attachment is again your ego. Your mind is attached to certain things. Say if you are attached to this and you cannot have this, or if this is going away, then your ego is very, very unhappy. So because of the attachment of, say, ego of husband and the wife clashes and become disharmony. country ego and the other country ego clashes and it becomes a war.
Yeah.
So ego is the one that we have to work towards to become egolessness.
Yeah.
All the prophets, the Buddha, Jesus, basically they see themselves and they become egolessness.
Okay.
So if you have an ego within you strong, you can never expect the enlightenment.
Okay, and the purpose of all the practices and the purpose of Zazen meditation is to practice without attachment to outcome.
Yes.
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 The nature of reality here on earth is it's illusion. What is the only permanent thing?
Okay. Every single thing in this universe is temporary.
Yeah.
Yes. So like this house, the planet Earth, the sun and the moon, it has a time. It's not forever. Nothing is forever in this universe. Everything goes away. Meaning it exists temporarily. In other words, it doesn't really exist. It comes and goes. So it is like a dream.
Okay.
It's temporary. But there is one thing it is permanent, which is yourself, which is the God, which is the God within. This is only one thing.
Okay.
And other than that is all illusion. Therefore, you can say nothing exists except yourself.
Yeah.
Well, we are seeing the illusion every day, and it's such a realistic, very, very realistic. Even you heard this, but you still think this exists. But it is an illusion to think that things exist. For example, another example, you look at the sky in the evening, there's a star there, bright. Tomorrow night, you see it's still there. Maybe that the star is maybe some hundreds of light years away from us. So day after tomorrow you look, you still see it. 1 year later, you still see the same star. But since that star, it is, say, 100 light years away from us, then by the time the star gets into your eyes, the planet is already not existing anymore. So meaning we are seeing something that it doesn't exist. So this is illusion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. By the time we perceive things,
it takes
it
takes so long, so many light years to get to your eyes. So by the time it gets there, it doesn't exist anymore, like the house or the moon or the sun.
Yeah. And can you tell us who Buddha was?
Who Buddha was? People call he's a prophet, but it's simply understanding Buddha is who attained enlightenment. The being that whoever attained enlightenment we call Buddha. Buddha meaning, yes, the enlightened one. Meaning he saw himself. He realized himself.
And what were his teachings?
His teaching is simply this is what we've been talking about. His teaching is to become egolessness. So, in order for you to see your Buddha nature, you have to be egolessness first.
Yeah, and can anybody achieve
and then before you attain practice the egolessness practice, you have to practice non-attachment.
Okay.
So it is all comes in one.
Yeah.
It's not a separate thing. It is just a process, and then we call it differently, like egolessness, non-attachment, and non-expectation, no attainment. It's all. It is the same thing actually.
Okay.
In order for you to see who you really are, to attain enlightenment.
Okay.
So meaning, if you want to attain enlightenment, you have to forget about attaining enlightenment. Otherwise, you will never attain there.
So what is the take in Buddhism on the life after death and the state of our consciousness between lives?
Okay, like we are talking about, this body lasts about 100 years. So after that, you're going to lose your body, and we call that death. Yes, but the death, you will not die because you are eternal self. In our language, use the word death, meaning die, meaning this body, it doesn't work anymore, right? So after that, that's why we keep reincarnating, reincarnating. We call chain of birth because it's uncountable reincarnations.
Okay.
So it's nothing special. After you die, you no longer in the physical body and not in the physical world. So you go into astral world and live in the astral body, in the astral world.
So we never die? In essence, we never die?
We never die. And this life, it's like an illusion. It is an illusion. It's like a dream. When you are dreaming, when you're sleeping and dreaming, you feel it is so real. But when you wake up, oh, that was a dream. So same thing is going to happen. When you die, oh, that was a dream.
And speaking of enlightenment, can you talk about happiness and what happiness is? Is there such thing as happiness?
There is only one happiness, the ultimate, which is to realize yourself, that you are the perfect existence. In a lower level of understanding happiness, you get something and you feel happy, you receive some kind of material. But that is not ultimate happiness. Only ultimate happiness is to realize who you are, to attain enlightenment. Because the ego keep changes. You know, if something that you don't like happens, then your ego is not happy. So it is not happiness. But in a religious practitioner, it doesn't work that way, because we know that making your ego happy, it's nothing contribute to the enlightenment.
And what is your take on other planetary systems, higher planetary systems, UFOs or aliens visiting the Earth?
It's not very important. It is not very, very important things to understand. But I don't deny on it, since this universe is so huge, and like we are on the planet. If you are here, then you're only seeing from this above. But there is this way, this way, this way, and this way. And if you're underneath, there's that. But we can only see this way. Yeah. The planet. So it can be anything out there, and there are a number of people who have seen like UFO, or aliens. And yes, anything can happen. Buddhism will not deny on that. But it is also not important, it's not that important to explore about it, since you have to be here now. This is the moment, and this is the most important. You practice right here. So it's not really appropriate to go there, since you have to be here. Yes?
Yes.
And if it's for you, necessary for you to be there, then you are there.
Yeah, makes sense. And what about psychedelic plants and using them as a tool to achieve a deeper understanding of the nature of reality?
Okay. Psychedelics, they have certain power to open up the chakras.
Yeah.
But since we are practicing this through meditation, through natural way, through yoga, that is very safe because your mind is ready for that. But if you take something, a drug, and it, because of the power of the drug or chemicals, to forcibly to open up the chakras. So even you are not ready, it opens up. And if you're not ready to see certain things, and you see it, then there is going to be danger. Disharmony occurs within you. Right? Like everything else, if you are not ready and you receive it, you don't know how to use them properly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it can be dangerous for some people?
Yes, and I have seen a number of people who use drugs and never come back.
Okay. So it's not recommended, but it's not prohibited?
We don't prohibit anything, but some people can use it as a tool, but every individual is different.
Okay.
Somebody can take it, somebody may not.
Okay. Okay.
But I would recommend to practice naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. Meditation.
Meditation and yes, various religious, spiritual practices will take care of it.
What is the reason why we are here on Earth?
Very simple answer, very straightforward answer for that is we are here to practice ourselves, which is the purpose of being a human is to be attain enlightenment. That is the purpose of our existence, nothing else. Many people are not realizing that, but basically we are here to practice enlightenment. Once you attain enlightenment, you no longer have to reincarnate.
Okay.
No reincarnation meaning there is no suffering.
In a physical body?
Both physical and astrally or emotionally. Yes.
And why do we suffer?
We suffer, again, there's many different ways of looking at, but we suffer from the ego wanting certain things and you cannot obtain that, then you suffer. The basic fundamental of suffering is something that you want doesn't happen the way you want, then you suffer.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier that Buddhism teaches that life here on earth is suffering.
Yes. But the first things the Buddha teaches us is life is suffering, which is same with another religion as well. suffering of born, suffering of disease, suffering of old age, and so on. And nobody can avoid this. And there's another suffering, one of the heavy one, is the separation from the one you love. That suffering, we all have to separate from our parents, the loved ones, the pets, whatever, and we suffer.
So why do we have to go through that? Is it a part of our growth and?
Since this is our karma, since this is what are we getting, a human being, so it's so obvious that we have to practice through this way. And some people complain towards God. Why do we have to practice this way? And the answer is because you have that kind of karma. If you have no such a karma, you wouldn't be experiencing that, or you wouldn't be here.
Okay. And what is, in the light of karma, what is your take on soulmates?
The soulmates. Again, if there is no karmical relation towards people or materials or anything, you would not be there. If there's no karma, there's no relation. So, when you become soulmate, man and woman, that's a very deep relation. You must have a deeper karmical relation in the past.
Okay, so then what is love?
What is love? In Buddhist way of understanding, love is give. Just give, give, give. That is love. Some people think give and take equally, that is love, but that is not really a love. Love, okay, give, 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 meaning regardless of what you have to give, not thinking of the reward. Therefore, in a religious understanding, the love is just give.
Okay.
It's not give and take. And again, just give meaning you are giving unconditionally. So love is unconditional as well. Good example is the sun. Sun is nothing but love. It gives the warmth, the ki, the prana. Without sun, nothing is going to grow. We will have no vegetables to eat without sun. Sun gives the warmth and the love to everyone unconditionally, whether you are criminal or whether you are holy man, whoever you are, sun will give you a love equally, unconditionally to every single existence. So you can think that when you think about what is love, you can think about the sun. That is a very good example for the love.